What the is your problem? Was this week's homework question. This week we had you come up with an interesting idea that you were thinking about building and sum it up in one concise sentence. Something so clear and concise that even a random stranger or a friend could completely and instantly understand what you're working on. Remember to keep it simple. You don't have to get too technical when you're talking about an idea because you're talking to a random stranger right here, and I could probably just process that as it's 1 a.m. in the morning and I'm making Animal Crossing noises. Here's what your fellow first-time founders have submitted.
Hey Zero Base, I'm Addy.
Hello, I'm Jin.
Hey, this is Hazel. I'm Harsh.
This is Ibtisam from Morocco.
My name is Jezreel and I'm the solo tech founder of Rescue.
And we're building Nimbit.cloud.
To eradicate bureaucracy.
I'm the founder for an app called Finally Fit to help people who started going to the gym and want to lose fat and build muscle.
We're connecting moms to train peer supporters.
To build an AI agent to help content creators 10x their return of investments.
This is an app that allows event organizers to be able to map venue sections.
Emails suck. Well, I want to create an AI executive assistant that organizes your email inbox into workflows.
A dashboard that you can enter your portfolio or search individual stocks.
All of this is simply a compactable, wearable device. Storage contains its are full of life-saving medication.
Be seeing you guys around for the rest of the season.
Bye!
And see you then.
To be in the program. Can't wait to get started. Appreciate you. Ciao.
Orange juice, no more coffee for today. Oh my god. I had 3 cups of coffee this morning and my brain is like literally fuzzing out. Holy shit. So, orange juice for me today. I'll try not to buzz out, but wow. It must be getting old, you know? Like, I don't know how much coffee intakes that you guys can have per day, but my one used to be like 5. Now it's like reducing to 3. Now it's like coming to an orange juice, which is crazy. Anyway, how are we feeling today, guys? How are we feeling today? I caught up with a lot of you guys, even today. I caught up with a lot of you guys today through the one-on-one chats. Got to know you guys on a very personal level. Also, you know, getting to know your background, getting to know your ideas, like, you know, what your hobbies are, which is really cool. Like, and I've got to admit, the ideas that you guys, some of the ideas were super interesting. It felt like I really wanted to angel invest in it as well. Super interesting, amazing job. Week 1 homework, I think it was quite interesting because a lot of people struggled with coming up with their one-liner problem. I do think that this is probably the hardest homework out of the whole 6 weeks, like coming up with a one-liner problem, right? Our team actually attended a demo day online. And the demo day that we attended, there was like a lot of founders pitching, right? I would say 70% of the ideas, we really didn't understand what those ideas are trying to do because they didn't really use the one-liner problem statement. They were just jumping on right on their pitch deck. They were just, you know, talking about the product, which is very difficult for our team to sort of understand what problems that they were trying to solve. So again, that one-liner problem is probably the most important part when it comes to, you know, pitching your startup. So that's why I think you really need to ace it. Anyway, let's jump right on today. Like, let's move right on. We have a lot of things to go through. So, like I said, week 1 was super amazing. Top people, top founders applying to the program, getting to know a lot of you guys, and feel free to develop on your one-liner problem, right? Because like I said, investors are always not, you know, there's going to be investors who are not technical, and that's probably going to be majority of the case for demo day. Now, your one-liner, like I said, even my mom or even like a 10-year-old kid should understand, right? It needs to be super simple, like an ordinary person would be able, like, can understand what you are trying to do. And think of VCs who are attending. They're not all technical. They're like, you know, from the finance industry, they're from like the venture industry who probably doesn't have any founder experience. So you need to be very simple, very straight up with them on, hey, I'm solving XYZ. and by my solution is XYZ, you know. It needs to be super, super simple. Just keep that in mind, because once they get lost, they'll have a very difficult time trying to get back on track. So feel free to sort of develop your one-liner, and you still have 4 or 5 weeks, and resubmit your homework. Now, we will go over some of these 60 seconds videos, and we will invite Carlo, who's the videographer for Zerobase, at the end of the lecture, and he will sort of see it in the perspective of a non-technical person, which is going to be super interesting, right? Now, lecture 2, let's get building. You guys should have an idea. If you don't, submit your homework because things are rolling pretty fast. But you guys should have an idea. But I think the idea is the easiest part. Building's not. The building part is what matters the most, right? So we're going to focus and we're going to sort of talk about how to build your ideas. Now, in the startup world, there's a thing called MVP. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard of MVP. It's called minimum viable product. What I like to call it is probably the shittiest version of your product that can get the job done. Basically, we're going to create this MVP. Now, I want you guys to picture the perfect product in your head on what you're building. Like if you're building the next Airbnb, try to imagine the perfect product in your head right now. Now imagine only 30% of it being completed, right? That's going to be building your MVP. And I want you to build that sort of level of minimal product within this week. Just as an example, right? Let's say that I'm building the next Uber. And I think this is going to be interesting. Let's say I'm building the next Uber for this project. And how I like to always start since 2017, and I've been using this method for like 7-8 years now, I like to use a first principle analysis. Now, what that means is breaking down to the most basic level on how things work, right? And if I'm building Uber, I will sort of break down to like little features, right? It needs to be an app. It needs to have amazing designs. It needs to have a notification feature when your driver arrives. It needs to have a messaging service between you and the driver. It needs to have a live tracking thing, right? So, you know, endless amount of feature going into build another version for Uber. Now, okay, let's use the first principle analysis to break things down and break it into into a nutshell. Now, for Uber, there's obviously the user who requires a ride, who needs a ride. And that's Carlo, who's gonna be joining us later to give you feedback, but that's Carlo. But let's imagine Carlo needs a ride. And that's me, the person, the driver, and you need a driver. Now, all Carlo is doing is requesting a pickup from the driver. Basically, guys, this is the main core action or a thing that Uber requires to do. Without this thing, it's not Uber, right? So all Uber needs to do is requesting a pickup from the user and the driver's picking them up. Now, out of all these lists, in order for that to happen, I would only pick maybe 4 or 5 features out of this list. So maybe it doesn't even need to be an app, right? It can be like a web app, which is so much easier to build. Website, it doesn't even have to amazing design. It can be just like an average looking design, right? It maybe need a messenger service or like a communication service where, you know, a communications can happen between the user and the driver. And that can be like, writing them knowing their, phone numbers or something. It requires maybe like a pickup or a drop-off field so the driver knows where this user is going. You don't really need ratings or referrals at this moment. So when it comes to building an MVP, you only need little functions to make that happen. So build the simplest version of your product. I think that's the most important part that can take you from A to B. Now, you might ask, hey, wait, Sam, so like how the hell do you operate this without the other functions, like the features, right? And I will say this, building features doesn't define success, right? Features always come later on. We're going to talk a little bit about this later, but please do not rush to build extra features. Only try to get the core product completed. please, 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 I beg you, because once you start to implement all these features, you're suddenly going to spend like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 1 year in building your MVP, which is never going to be completed. Now, guys, this is Uber. This is Uber's MVP. I don't know, when it was, but it's probably when the first iPhone came out. Nothing like this. Nothing seems quite similar. I mean, yes, you have the map, but I don't know what the hell the touch and 13 ticks. Oh, that's probably like the driver side, right? But it looks so different. So what I'm trying to show you here is the MVP looks so much different to what it looks like today. This is Zoom. Looks quite similar apart from the design part. I think, maybe like a 12-year-old could design, I don't know. It looks so much different. DoorDash, guys. This is DoorDash. DoorDash is MVP. Now, I'm going to tell you an interesting story. I'm not sure if you guys heard of the DoorDash story, but believe me, it's probably the most interesting startup story out there, and I'm just going to explain it right. Tony and his team, DoorDash founders, they're the one who created DoorDash. So they were focused on helping small businesses in Palo Alto in America, right? They were only focused on helping small businesses within the region of Palo Alto, which is quite interesting. Now, their website wasn't even called DoorDash back then. It was called PaloAltoDelivery.com, PaloAltoDelivery.com. And guys, they built their MVP within 45 minutes. Now, a lot of people's like, hey, you can't build your MVP within a month. Well, there you have it. They built it within 45 minutes. So that just proves everything that you can. And MVP should really be really quick, because it's just for a testing purpose. And they've only uploaded a PDF menu and just managed orders through Google Docs. Basically, there wasn't any management systems. They didn't really integrate anything. They just used Google Docs for managing everything. The orders, the menus, literally everything. Now, the customers would see these PDF menus and call their phones. And basically their team would go to the restaurant, pick up the food, and then just basically deliver it to the customers. All right? That was their MVP. Like, if you were to build another version of DoorDash today, you would do exactly the same thing. You wouldn't go out developing every single functions on what you would see today. No. You would do this exactly the same steps. Starting small, and then scaling, right? Now, what's really interesting is they tested out a monetization model very early on. So they added $6 for a delivery fee to see if customers are paying, which obviously customers did. That's when they pulled the trigger and started scaling. They added the drivers and more features later on after they have realized that this is a scalable product. So I think that's the point. A lot of first-time founders, when they are trying to build like a delivery service or Uber, etc., the first thing that they would go and do is hire delivery drivers, which is not good, right? You didn't even know if the whole thing's going to work or not. So the key takeaway for this is they didn't build a perfect website. As you can see, that wasn't a perfect website. It was like a bloody landing page. They didn't hire drivers. It took them 45 minutes to build their MVP, right? They self-delivered the food themselves. They used their own phone numbers to accept orders, and the development, customer support to delivery, delivering all the food orders. It was all in-house. They didn't outsource anything. It was all in-house. I think one of my favorite quote is by Paul Graham, who's the founder of Y Combinator. It's do things that don't scale, right? And I was aware of this quote, from years ago by reading his essay. But I only started to realize the importance of this quote, and I think it should apply for everyone. It means startups should focus on manual efforts, basically manual labors, right? Like personally going out to reach out to users, to build traction and validate the product. Basically do everything manually to actually validate the product and to see if your idea is going to work, right? Before scaling. I think this is a really crucial thing. And here's my structure. I think you really need to only follow 6 or 7 steps in order to start small and start scaling. Here's what I would do. Here's what I've done for the last 7-8 years, basically. Normally, I build an MVP within 7 to 30 days, within a month. I think anything that goes over maybe 2 months is maybe spending a little bit too long. Try to build your MVP within the shortest amount of time as possible, and then you will launch, right? You would get users, maybe roughly 10 or more. If more, that'll be amazing. Ask them what they like and what they dislike about the product that they've used, or your product. Analyze their feedback. Guys, if a user says, hey, I don't like the color, can you change it to red from green? You're not gonna change the whole color based on their feedback. You really need to know why they want you to change the color. Basically, that's the whole point of analyzing feedback. You don't just take it for word. I think that's a lot of the mistakes that founders make. And go make changes to your MVP and then repeat step 2, which is relaunch. Get users, ask them feedback, analyze their feedback, go make changes, and repeat launch 2. So basically, as you can see, this is a whole iteration cycle. It's called the iteration cycle, right? And normally, founders do not do the steps and they fail immediately, right? What founders are used to do is they build an MVP for 3, 4, 5, 6 months plus. They launch, they get users. Even if they get 10 users, they're extremely unhappy. And I was like, dude, there are at least 10 people who care about your product, you should be extremely happy. And they don't really interview. They skip out the interview process. And they add features on what they think will work the best. Basically, they're assuming themselves that, hey, if I add this feature, it will work out well. So basically, they skip out step 5, 6, 7, 8, which is crucial. And this is why I think that 90% of the startups fail, because they skip out all these crucial steps. Now, you should probably screenshot this process, because this is probably a secret recipe in starting a successful early stage startups and gain traction. Now, you should repeat the iteration cycle. What I mean by iteration cycle is you should repeat this step, right? Building, launching, users, interview, analyzing, making changes to MVP, and relaunching 20 to 30 times. Because apparently to YC, every time you complete an iteration cycle, your product gets 2% better every single time. And you can sort of imagine how your product will end up in the next, 20th, 30th cycle. Very, very different places, right? We will talk about, launching and surveying users in lectures 3 and 4. But for today, I think it's all about creating MVP. What is an MVP? It doesn't have to be a perfect product. We actually encourage you to build a shitty product, right? Because as soon as we see a full completed product, realistically, that's going to change over time. That always happens. So it's better off you just develop a shitty product, launching, gaining feedback, and making changes. For example, if you're building a clothing brand, right, your toy version can be the fabric that they're using to build your or make your clothes. If you're building cosmetics, your toy version can maybe be the packaging, right? If you're building a content startup, which I quote up with this content startup just before, your toy version can be the first version of your video, of your content creation. If you're building a coffee startup, your toy version of it can be your first cup of coffee. So just start somewhere, right? And start making improvements along the way. I think that is the secret key to success in a startup environment, where you would start off somewhere and build along the way, just like a Lego thing, right? You would put pieces together to make such a cool Lego, and become a full product, right? And I think this is really extremely important. Now, I want to show you some examples from last season, which is pretty cool. This is Rithvik from season 2, and his MVP was just using Figma, right, to build his prototype. So I'm not going to play the sound, but Guys, this is just a Figma design that he's prototyped and he's just showing it to us. Design is okay. I mean, 100%, you need to start off somewhere, like I said. You can even show the design to the users who are interested and start making changes. So as you can see, you know, he's done some really cool designs in Figma and he's sort of displaying it on his phone, right? Another cool example will be Lorena.
4 years of college, grad school, and a pandemic later, Z-Schools has morphed into Invasive Impact Initiatives, an organization that shares the beauty of invasive species upcycling. From sharing articles about other invasive species upcyclers to hosting our own Share with the World.
See, like, you can sort of see her MVP version of what she's doing right now. So she's holding her hand. That can be an MVP. There is no right or wrong. At least you can just start somewhere, right? And that's what's important.
4 years of college.
Okay. Lorraine from season 2. She's the non-technical founder, but how she started was just a simple drawing. At least it's better than nothing, right? So you can see her hand drawing on a notebook, sort of expressing what her idea is going to be.
With their loved ones, especially their special someones, their birth date and time, and their email as well.
So she's talking about, you know, collecting users' birthday, emails, etc. within her prototype. That is good, right? You just need to start somewhere. This is Evan, who I caught up with today.
Hello there.
Hello, I'm Max, the assistant to Assembly member Stephanie Nguyen. How can I help you today?
And this demo is just him sort of demoing his product. Basically, it's a very rough version, but he's just constantly testing and showing that on the video, which is amazing. Let's say Sunny from season 2.
Hey Zerobase, it's Sunny and I'm working on Sweat AI. It's a personal shopping assistant for fitness supplements. So here is kind of where we're at. You know, we have the user interface, the chat. This is kind of the base page. You know, a little text wheel. This is where the shopping results will pull up.
So as you can see, it's not completed, but you know, that is what's supposed to be an MVP is, right? It's not supposed to be complete. Very minimal version of your product that can sort of express your idea, right? This is Maya. Now, a lot of you guys already have a working prototype. So for the homework that I'll sort of talk to you about, it can be something like this.
This is Radical, a visual calendar app where you can see your time in new ways. You open the calendar into a minimal home screen and you can visualize your events in the user favorite radial view. A 24-hour clock where you can see your events all at once. Or switch to the horizontal view.
Guys, it doesn't have to be this legit, right? I mean, Maya just went through the roof for this one, but it doesn't have to be this professional. It can be just you showcasing a demo of your current product, which should be all good.
This is Radical.
Or like Tadashi's, you know. It can be just a short demo version. It even can be like a demo version of you showing us like with your recordings. So it doesn't really matter. As long as you just start somewhere. Really cool. Like virtual office that tries to solve, you know, because working from home is quite boring. So he's trying to solve that problem. Now, week 2 homework. Let's get building, guys. There are 2 things you need to do, which is super, super easy, right? It would be such a shame if you guys can't do this because, you know, you guys should be all capable of. First one is show us your prototype. It can be like a Figma file. It can be like a hand-drawn, like what I just showed you for Lorraine's. It can be a download link to your prototype, whatever it is. Just show us your prototype. And the second one will be a 60-second demo video of you explaining your product, your drawing or design. So similar for the homework for week 1, we expect you to sort of submit a video for week 2 as well, showcasing your demo, which is super easy. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be scrappy. And why we really love scrappy ideas, and this is, I think, a lot of our investors and our advisors has said this, is, you know, often the best product comes from a scrappy product, and that's a result of constant iterating. And I know a lot of you guys have a scrappy product, which we love. We really love to sort of get feedback, fund those scrappy ideas. We don't want a full product. So, I mean, if you have a full product, sure, that's great. But also a scrappy prototype can do the job. Now, the due date is 9th of March, 12 p.m. KST, before the next week's lecture starts. So get that going. For IRL, it's a split decision between the Philippines and Thailand. We need your vote. I mean, a lot of people voted, but it's literally like 50-50. I think Philippines is probably up by, I don't know, like 10 votes. Vote now, right? Vote now where you want the IRL event to be hosted at. Now, we're going to invite Carlo. We're going to, give you some amazing feedback for your homework one. Amazing 60-second videos that we've selected. So we'll just bring Carlo into this call. So guys, this is Carlo, our video producer for Zerobase. He's down here. What's up, Carlo?
Hello. I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. So today we'll be so this is a guy who is the man for producing the videos for Zerobase. Probably you guys have seen all the videos. That's why you've sort of applied, right? Anyway, this is your main man. If you have any video jobs for him, feel free to reach out to him. And that's good. Anyway, we'll be reviewing maybe 4 to 5 videos for the homework one. And because you're like sort of new to the startup scene, right? I'm very interested to sort of know what your perspective is on these videos. So let's start for the first one. So the first one is Tejas, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we'll look at it.
Hey Zerobase, I am Tejas, and the problem which I'm solving is that investors, well, investing is hard, but investors do not know how a stock moves. Basically, take stock as an entity and they don't know how it moves, what makes it move, how much will it move if an event or a news comes up. And to solve that, what I'm creating, or the prototype, is a dashboard. Well, simple enough. A dashboard that you can enter your portfolio or search individual stocks, in which you'd get very detailed analysis of each stock, or not so detailed if you don't want to understand numbers, in which you will know exactly how that stock is being affected by the news, events, or anything that is happening around you. So, yeah, that's Oddstat for you. And I hope I make this and help investors, including my mom and dad. And see you then.
Okay, that was Tejas. Sorry if I incorrectly pronounced your name, but that was Tejas. I'll go first, actually. I think he had a clear problem, right? I think he sort of had a clear problem. Well, talking as like a startup guy, he had a clear problem, and it was, his solution was sort of clear to, what kind of audience they was building for. So I think it was pretty clear. It was pretty simple, easy for me to understand. But what about you, Carlo?
Yeah, it was pretty easy to understand for me as well. I think, and like not every video has to be like this, but I think what really caught me was like the use of non-diegetic text just like popping everywhere. That helped me like hone in on and realize, help me focus more on like what the actual idea was. I have invested in things before. I've invested in crypto, and like that kind of went down the drain. But I feel like I feel like using a tool like this would be essential for me, just because as much as I do keep up with the news, there's like things that I always miss when it comes to like investing in stocks and whether if I should just sell or not, or buy or not. So yeah.
I mean, definitely the texts did help. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, clear problem, clear solution. It was for the investors who are struggling to invest every time the market moves. We're not really commenting on the idea itself, because I don't think there's a bad idea, but we're just commenting on how clear the problem and the solution was. Okay, next. Sai.
Hey everyone, Sai Smaran here, a 19-year-old innovator and a dropout from UC Davis. I have developed a wearable hydration device that analyzes sweat to provide the real-time data, personalized electrolyte and hydration recommendations through our AI-driven app. What makes us unique is that our exclusive focus on natural hydration solutions like fresh fruit juices and yogurt, offering a healthier alternatives for our users. I'm working with 2 PhD professors from IISc Bangalore to ensure the high accuracy and effectiveness. While similar products are either too expensive or unavailable in India, our device is affordable and tailored to our local Indian markets, helping users to optimize their hydration health.
Okay, that was Sai. I think, first of all, he's a dropout from UC Davis, which I think is brilliant. I think all dropouts deserve some credit. I don't know. I just don't like universities. Anyway, I think it's a cool product. What it's lacking is why this is a problem, right? I don't think he mentions that this is a problem because for who. And I think if there was like a use case, for example, if you could actually describe a scenario on who would use this product, that'll be so much more helpful. Yeah, but that's just my point of view. What about you, Carlo?
No, for sure. I 100% agree with your statement. The one thing I noticed was there was like a lot of details into like how this product works, which is, essential. And like, I did process like that, what it's used for. But as you said, I didn't really like hear any like problem, like, or what the problem like clearly was. But he has an idea. He created a prototype for it. That's pretty cool. Though I don't know what the problem is and how we could use that to solve the problem.
I think one more feedback would be like, I always think that one line of problem needs to be very simple, so like a 10-year-old can understand, right? I think definitely the words that Sai is using is 100% understandable from like a technical perspective, but not from like a normal person perspective, right? I think if we can just simplify down some words, and if he gets selected for demo day, because not all VCs are going to be like technical like Sai. I think we need to use much more simpler words, which is going to be 100% much more effective. Yeah.
I agree. When it comes to like pitching things like a log line or just any idea or a tool, like there are like a lot of technical things that come to it, but I like to talk about these ideas as if I were like speaking to a friend or like just like some random person on the street.
Yeah, because what like who VCs are basically just a normal, typical random person that just likes to invest in startups, right? And the majority of the VCs don't have the founder experience, so they're not going to be technical. So I think definitely just speaking to a friend. It doesn't really need to be professional. Just keep it simple. But I think I've seen this prototype. It's very cool. Like, I'm excited to see your next week's homework. Next one.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to also add on. The way that I also like to put things, like not only should you keep it simple, but since I come from the film industry, we have something similar called like a log line, which is literally just like your one-liner, but like you're pitching your script.
Right.
The best way I could put it is if you were like in an elevator with someone that is a big shot in Hollywood, like a big shot Hollywood producer, and he gave you a chance to pitch your idea within one sentence, what would your film idea be, and how could you sell it to him within that one sentence? Thinking about it like that with your guys' ideas, whether if it's like a film or not, or if it's a tool or not.
Basically, like a elevator pitch. Yeah, because you don't even know who you might run into. Like one of the examples for last season is like if you were walking around California, you bump into Elon Musk. There's probably like one in a lifetime chance, and you really want to sort of pull out your one-liner then. Anyway.
Agreed.
This is Jin from...
Hello, I'm Jin, the founder of Pinkpecker. Over the past 7 years, working directly in global meat trading, I have identified a common issue, the waste of less preferred meat cuts and supply shortages. This isn't just a logistical problem, it threatens the sustainability of our food future. To address this, I founded Pinkpecker, and I'm here to introduce our innovative solution. In the global meat market, importers grapple with increased inventory, high management costs, and low profit margins due to less preferred meat cuts. Importers in the Middle East and Southern Hemisphere face losses, with approximately 15 to 20% of imported meat remaining unsold, and profit margins per transaction as low as 3%. Simultaneously, small to medium-sized packers are losing competitiveness due to market monopolization by large packers. Pinkpecker accumulates data through an MVP model and connects markets in need of less preferred meat cuts through AI-based matching. Producers register their less preferred cuts and importers input their specific requirements. This process reduces inventory and waste rates to less than half of previous levels, lowers logistics costs, and increases profit margins. By 2027, our strategy is to evolve into a real-time logistics monitoring and AI-based platform. Pinkpecker is more than just a meat trading platform. We are tackling global food security challenges. Our matching technology will efficiently distribute meat resources worldwide, addressing regional food imbalances. Thank you for listening. This was Jin from Pinkpecker.
This was Jin from Pinkpecker, guys.
Pinkpecker.
Okay, I'll let you go first on this one.
The idea was actually pretty clear throughout, and what I really like about people who like address the problem is providing evidence. And like I do notice like things like within like I guess like my region, even though I live in San Francisco, like there are like like just wastes of like meat and like other like packages of like food and like supplies, and I feel like an app like this like not only could help us like in San Francisco but worldwide.
Yeah. First of all, it had a very clear problem. Like I think even anyone in the world can understand what you're trying to solve, right? It had a problem. It had a clear solution. Although I'm not sure if it's going to be an app. It said it's going to be an AI matching system, right? I think it was a matching platform. If it's going to be an app, if it's going to be a website, that'll be good to know. But overall, I think it's a very straightforward concept, very clear. Basically nothing to comment on.
Yeah.
A cool idea. I've never thought of like less preferred cuts in meat. Never thought of it. Yeah. Interesting. Huh. I think Jin's targeting towards more like UAE. Arab Emirates. Yeah. Interesting. Interested to see his like sort of prototype.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. Dow. Oh my god.
Dachi? Yeah.
What do personal brands, startup, and big corporate have in common? Hey Zero Base, my name is Daochi. I've been a software engineer for more than 10 years. So, what do they have in common? Organic content marketing. They make videos, put them out on social media, and wait for their viral moments. But they're struggling. They spend so much time and money, but in return, no one watches the videos and inconsistent result. They just couldn't figure out how the social media algorithms work. Being a full-time content creator myself, I know the pain, but I figured out a way to systematically improve my video performances. So I want to build an AI agent to help content creators 10x their return of investments. A tool, creators' best friend, that allows people to package, troubleshoot, and stack success one video at a time. The agent is called Una. I'm very excited to be in the program. Can't wait to get started. Appreciate you. Ciao.
Ciao. That was Daochi. I'm not a content creator. Why is this lagging, bro? Anyway, I'm not a content creator, so I sort of like 50-60% understood what Una is going to be. I understood that it helps content creators. Then I sort of got lost in the middle. You're a content creator. Do you know what he's trying to solve?
Yeah, so he's trying to like help solve and boost marketing for content creators and just anyone who creates something within the platforms. Like, from what I believe, like the main problem is that like not a lot of content creators are getting recognition, and sometimes like when they invest their money into things, they still get no results. And he's developing this app to create like not necessarily like a platform, but just like a tool for you to like kind of like, I would say, litmus A/B test like your ideas and stuff like that, or your videos.
Right.
And yeah.
Okay. So I guess
like it's a content marketing strategy tool.
Okay, so I get the overall idea. I guess like you're a content creator, so you probably understood it better than me. I guess the only sort of feedback would be you like if Dalchi is selected for Demo Day, and he's pitching this idea to VCs who are not in the content creation industry. I guess they may sort of struggle to understand what the product actually is. And how it's sort of helping the content creators. I think, if we can sort of make the one-liner problem statement clearer to people who are not in the content creation space, that would be awesome. Yeah.
I think I know the why, but not necessarily the how.
Right.
Like, are they going to help content creators through like seeing like which thumbnails are better, which hashtags are better, etc., like which is better for the community and stuff like that? But overall, I love the idea.
I mean, I agree. If there was a how, like you said, what thumbnails performs better, what hashtag performs better, that would give me a good understanding. But anyway, nice, very good. Okay, I think this is the lucky last. Ella.
Hello, my name is Elle Lawler, and I'm the CEO and founder of Orion Careers. We have two problem statements because the structure of our application is going to have two customer segments, both students and employers. So on the student side, the problem that they're facing is not being able to find good jobs once they graduate. It's taking them months up to years to find jobs, and once they do, the longevity at those jobs are usually very short. And so for employers, this leads to entry-level positions having high turnover rates, especially the ones that they're hiring students for. And so this leads to in America, about $10 billion annually in environmental loss problems, with there being a mismatch between a student's or entry-level positions preferences in a workplace compared to what the employer is actually offering. So we're looking to have a mobile application that uses AI and a language learning model to take those into consideration to find the perfect matches for companies and students.
Nice. I think that was a very strong 60s. It had like the problem and why it was a problem solution. She talked about how she's going to solve the problem, I think. She said it was going to be a app as well, like what the kind of platform. I think that was probably the easiest one-liner or like a video that a normal person could understand.
Yeah, it was very clear and concise. As a recent graduate myself, it is pretty hard to find jobs. A lot of the jobs here in America are like catch-22s, where it's like you need like it's an entry-level position, and like but you also need experience. So it's like, what the fuck, bro? But I think the one thing the one thing that I feel like also needs to be added, and you could clear me say I'm wrong or like agree or disagree, but I think like it's similar with like the previous video with Dachi's. Like it's more of like the how. Like, are we gonna like use like their academics, or like I guess like previous like work experience and stuff like that, kind of like a resume almost. Like, are gonna have these students upload resumes or like similar documents in order to kind of like have that AI figure out which is the best match?
I 100% agree. Yeah, I thought I heard how, but now to come to think of it, there wasn't how. So sort of just saying how the platform is going to help people find jobs, right? Like you said, what do you call it? The transcript, or if it's going to be like a resume, a little bit more description based on that. I think that'll be a lot more helpful. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like your pitch deck will like showcase your product and stuff, but this is like when you don't even have a pitch deck, right? When you're in a networking party and when you find a investor or like angel or a VC, they're like, okay, so what does your company do? You would need to sort of say your one-liner problem and one-liner solution instead of, you know, like saying a whole PhD thesis essay, which is really, really bad. So I think, you know, the how definitely needs to be incorporated. Yeah. Anyway, but apart from that, I think that was super, super simple, on point. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. I think that's it. Any last comments, Carlo?
Please make sure to do your homework. Yeah, that's really about it. I mean, whoever made it past the first week, congratulations. This is only the beginning. You have 4 more weeks to go. And keep in mind, it's only half-hour lectures like once per week that are recorded, and like it's like 45 questions per week. It's that easy to make your idea come true.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely the week 1 homework, because we got a lot of submissions. And like I said, I caught up with a lot of founders one-on-one, sort of get to know them on a personal level, also get to know about their idea. If you, like I said, if you need help, just, you know, book in those one-on-ones, where we really, we will help you. We will help you in any sort of areas. So thanks, guys. That's it for today. We will catch up the same time next week, Sunday in Korea time, Saturday in the US or whatever. Submit your homework. Remember, it's this week's homework is really easy. Like I said, only 2 things that you need to complete. So it's going to be easy. So thanks, guys. See you guys next week.
Can I ask you something? Yeah. Why do nice people choose the wrong people to date? We accept the love we think we deserve. Can we make them know that they deserve more? We can try.